Listen, 13.2 is called general form of circles. We'll call it completing the square is the name of the process to do this. So we talked about conic form, which is really the more important form of all of these conics. It'll tell you more info. General form is kind of like standard form was of linear equations. Remember ax plus by equals c? Didn't have any parentheses. It has like a, b, and c and your x and y. Well, this is what it's going to look like every time you hear a general form of a conic. You're going to have x squared, like ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. So it's all these different terms equaling 0. No parentheses is how you're going to really identify it. And so we don't know anything about the circle when it's in this form. So our job is to make it look like x, remember that x plus h quantity squared plus y plus k quantity squared equals some number squared or some number, and really that should have been minus, but it could be plus or minus. So we're trying to get it to where it's something squared. So what you want to do is rewrite this so that you have your x terms right next to each other. So I'm going to put x squared plus 6x, and then I'm going to put plus blank, and I'll show you why. Then I'm going to group my y terms together. So then I'm going to put plus y squared plus 4y plus blank. And then I'm going to move my constant term to the other side. So I'm adding 36, making it now positive. So that's step number 1. Then what you want to do to complete the square, so that's why the blanks are there, we're completing it by finding the magic number. To find it, you always take the b term, the one that's just got x, divide it by 2, and square it. So 3 squared, this would be a 9. But whatever I add to one side of an equation, I have to balance that out by adding it to another side, the other side. And so then I do the same thing with the y's. Take my b term, which is 4, divided by 2 is 2. Squaring that is still going to get me 4. But I also need to add 4 to this side so that I keep it balanced. Then what I'm trying to do is factor this. This should be a perfect squared trinomial. So you want to think of what two numbers multiplied to make 9 that add to make 6. And that would be x plus 3 times x plus 3, right? If I FOILed that out, I would get x squared plus 6x plus 9. So we really want to write this as x plus 3 quantity, or that amount, squared. So I'll get to where I don't do this step. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the y's. What two numbers multiply to make 4 that add to make 4? I'm factoring it. That would be plus y plus 2 times a y plus 2. And that would FOIL to make that. Or I write it as y plus 2 quantity squared. It's times itself. And then I just simplify this side. So 36 plus 9 would be 45, plus 4 is 49. Now you should notice that it looks how I wanted it to, where it's got x being squared, y being squared, and with parentheses around it, and then equaling a radius. So now I just pick out the center. It's going to be the opposite of these. So it'd be -3 comma -2. My radius is the square root of 49, which would be 7. And I could graph it if they asked me to. So let's try to go a little faster on number 2. First step is get your x terms next to each other and then put plus a blank. We'll have to complete the square. Then your y terms. So I'll have plus y squared minus 20y plus blank. Subtract the 52 over, so now it's a -52. You could also go ahead and put plus blank plus blank. So whatever you put in this blank, you're adding here. Whatever you put here, you're adding here. That helps people. Okay, so to get my magic number, I'm taking -8 divided by 2, which is -4, and I'm squaring it. It'll always become a positive. Doing the same thing here, -20 divided by 2 is -10, and then squaring it would be 100. And so the 16 I need to add to this side, and the 100 I need to add to this side. So over here, I'm factoring this with my x's and then with my y's. What two numbers multiply to make a positive 16 that add to make -8? It's always this number before you square it. And then that would be x minus 4. I'm going to go ahead and put that to the second power. So if I had this times another x minus 4, it would FOIL out to make that. And if you don't see it, you could stop and try that real quick. And then this one, it would be what two numbers multiply to make a positive, but add to make negative 20, that'd be y minus 10 squared. And then on this side, it would be 116 minus 52, which is 64. Okay, and then we're just ready to pick out our center, which would be at positive 4, comma 10. And then the square root of 64 means the radius is 8. So that is completing the square to get conic form from the general form.